Every immigrant has a story of hope, sacrifice, and survival. You hear whispers of racism in classrooms, of landlords who don't rent to outsiders, exploitation in workplaces, and dreams weighed down by debt. This is not just a story about struggle, it's about courage, resilience, and the pursuit of dignity in a foreign land. These are their voices, their truths, told finally in their own words.
So my name is Vikrant Panchigar. What brought me to Canada is I think it's curiosity for me to explore a new country, to explore what is there, explore a new society, figure out my life, essentially away from the people I grew up with, if that makes sense. Yeah. Finding an identity for myself was what brought me to Canada.
My name is Kanchan Rathore, and I've been here for 1.5 years almost, over 1.5 years actually. And I came here for study purpose and to actually search myself, if I can say that, because I'm a very curious human being and I always questioned a lot of things, and I think I couldn't be what I am as a person back home. So I just wanted to find myself, and that was something which drove me to come to Canada.
Hi there, happy to be here. My name is Dhruv Malik. I came to Canada 3 years back for study, but the main reason was with my girlfriend, because she was planning to come here. I had a good life back home, but I didn't want to lose her, so I came with her. We both came together 3 years back on study permit, worked there, study, and now we are here, and I'm on a work permit working for a company called Ipsos as a senior project manager. It's a market research firm, one of the biggest company you can say in all of the world.
So my name is Ritika. I came to Canada about 6.5 years ago. I currently work at Deloitte full time. I am part of the human capital consulting team, and beyond that, I also run my own organization called Redefine, which is catered towards empowering other immigrants like myself who came in and experienced challenges. And I came here primarily to pursue an education and kind of explore opportunities and possibilities. Yeah.
I think there was a bit of anxiety, mostly related to career and a bit about my social circle. But honestly, after quite some time, I really found good friends that helped me navigate such moments. I am actually very socially anxious, and I'm really constantly thinking about how am I perceived by other people. But then a notion struck me. People have their own struggles and their own insecurities. So you are just not important enough for them to focus on your insecurities. So that really got me out of my own head. And that really helped me put myself out more.
So I lost my mother at a very early age, and I never had a feeling of a motherhood in my life. And I had a very tough relationship with my stepmother when I was a kid. I was a very stubborn kid because of that. I never got a chance to express my feelings. I always keep it within me. I always used to pressurize myself for everything I have ever done. Either it was study, I always used to question, you're not good enough, you have to do more, you have to do more. And I was good in everything, but I never appreciated it. And I was literally thinking, I just want to die. I don't think so. There is no way I can live. But that was a time when I actually talked about it with my father. And for some reason, my stepmother started feeling what I was going through. And we worked on our relationship during that duration. But the only thing which was, I never got any support here because I don't have any family here. I didn't have any good friends during that time. Even people I was living with, they could never understood what I was going through because I never understood what I was going through. So it was a very, very tough situation for me.
It was quite tough in the start, I would say. I am kind of a mentally strong guy. I can take things on my own. If there is any negative things going around, I can bounce back or something like that. And you need to have belief in yourself, with your partner, with your parents, and you need to have that kind of belief in God.
I take humor as a shield, and that's what I was doing. But you should never overdo it. A lot of time it can come as not so good. This is what I realized, and I was doing that back home, and it was working fine. And again, I was having some good friends there to talk about, and that was a main part which I was missing here, because I cannot talk to a random person whom I don't trust, whom I don't know what intention they have. And I did that. I talked with some of these people, and you know what happened? Nothing. They actually just made fun of me and they moved on. I started making boundaries with people, and I started taking actions. I think that was the most important part, and I think that was the main way how I dealt with it. And I always made sure I know what I'm feeling. I make sure that I'm aware about my feelings always. That was something helped me a lot. And I always reflect myself, whatever I feel, because if you don't reflect, you're confusing two different feelings together, and then you don't know what's happening.
You need to have some kind of positive friends, positive company with you that can help you a lot. But for me, my main backbone, I would say, was my wife. She has been there with every challenges, every negative thing that has happened. She has motivated me with all those. She had a lot of challenges with her. I was there for her to cope up with it. I was there to motivate her. So we both had each other, and then our parents, our family. But I would say, the main challenge I felt like, in the start, when we had COVID, we didn't have anything to work. We didn't have anything to earn and we had a lot of huge loans that we had. So we were thinking, okay, will we be able to get any jobs in this market, COVID market? And then with God's grace, with our own hard work, we were able to cope up with it. We got jobs, that too just next to our home. That wasn't so far. So slowly and gradually, things started getting better, and then it will eventually get better. We just need to be, focused and, positive. So,
as international students, there is a lot of health anxiety as well. And another thing that may help is talking to a professional. I am not a mental health professional, and your friends may not be. If you're feeling not quite good physically or mentally, there are resources that they may be able to help you provide. I think that's what worked for me, because in the orientation, when I first came to Canada, I was made aware about the fact that we have health insurance, we have certain coverage, and I simply reached out to them, and then I found out that how many resources are actually there to help us, but we just don't know about them.
I would say challenging, and as well as at the same time, overwhelming for any guy who hasn't been experienced, who has been into her or his place all over the place. If he hasn't, I would say you need to be kind of more extrovert in order to cope up with all these things. But I would say, main challenging things.
I would say trailblazers. I feel like we have a lot of potential and capability to bring to the table, and I think we do that in ways where we often take the path that's less traveled. And I think we may face a lot of challenges in doing that, but I think when we make it to the end, it is quite extraordinary. So I would say that word.
One word I would use to describe my international student experience is enthralling. I mean, it's like a roller coaster ride with its ups and downs and everything that comes with it.
It's a hustler's experience, I would say. You're hustling from scratch.
I think the first thing I would say to people is to realize how there's a lot of value that's being brought to the table. I think oftentimes when a lot of people think of immigrants, they think of people who are coming into their country and taking their opportunities. But in reality, what I see them as is value adds who are actually helping uplift that community to grow even further. We know that $22.3 billion to the Canadian economy comes through international students, right? And that's more than the largest exports Canada has even ever had. But I think a lot of us forget to quantify the impact that we're bringing in. I think we have a likelihood to focus on the negatives than what so incredible comes out of it, which is today you see so many opportunities which weren't being occupied before are today being occupied by immigrants, which is helping Canada in many ways as well. So I would say they are value adds and in many ways the reasons behind Canada growing to the level it is today.
I would say they really need to be understandable about other cultures, about other communities and all. And I feel Canada is like really good at this. I have, for me and my wife, we haven't seen any kind of negative things around us by God's grace, or by, I would say, the people that we have. But I have seen a lot of hate on Instagram and on the YouTube and every other place. And only thing is to stay away from those negative things, I would say. You're here on your own, you need to work upon yourself, you need to earn, you need to grow, make a family. But at the same time, you need to respect the culture of the country, right? You can't be making rules on your own, right? You can't potentially negotiate all these kind of rules and regulations that you used to do back home in your country, right? You can't be like that. You need to adapt. You need to change according to the circumstances that we have here, right? So keep doing that. Then I would say you will keep on growing, keep respecting each other, stay there for each other. That's the main thing. People here from their own community, they don't stand for you. Even if you're landed there, I have seen people like before I was landing here, people would say, "Oh, come on, I'll pick up you from the airport. I'll show you around." But since I landed here, nobody picked up my phone. Respectful for those things. You need to think about others also. I know this is a challenging phase that we are right now, but still, even if you did started doing all these good deeds, God will see those things, and eventually you will be helped by someone like that.
So most of them look down to you. They really don't care. They just think that you are here for PR. They don't understand that we are paying 3 times more fees. They don't understand that we have so much of struggle more than you. You already have your resources. You already have everything set up well for you. And they made it more difficult for us. And I'm telling you, most of them do that. And I want them to understand that you cannot put all the eggs in one basket. There is so much hate on the Instagram and on the YouTube that people just be like, "Oh, you come from this country, you're this and that." And I don't understand why they are this way. Because anywhere you go, it's all about humanity. Why in the end people don't understand that? If someone is doing wrong, okay, that's a wrong person. But if someone is nice to you just on the basis of from where they're coming, their race, you cannot do something like that. And that's not cool. But it's going on in the society.
I think there are quite a few things that come to mind when you think about challenges of being an immigrant or a newcomer or international student, whatever you want to define that category as. And I think one of the key things that at least I realized was the perceived lack of credibility that I think comes with just being an outsider in many ways and being made to feel like an outsider. I think even this idea of us versus them, whether it is through analogies that people use or whether it is through comments that people may make without even understanding the impact it can have on someone, right? Like even things around when we're having conversations in groups, let's say when I was in university, right? Most people would talk about, let's say, ice hockey or things which are very North American in nature, and being someone who's not from the country, you are made to feel in a way that, okay, I'm not of value because I cannot add to this conversation. And I think you eventually end up creating that distance yourself, where you don't then show up in rooms where there aren't people who look like you. And I think that creates this segregation as well, where a lot of us move to a new country to actually be open to meeting people from different cultures, but actually end up finding ourselves going back to our own communities in that new country purely because we feel like either the other person does not see that value in us, or we might make them or ourselves uncomfortable in many ways. And I think it comes through those kind of unsaid ways, like how people may, speak to you, or, body language in general.
As an immigrant, I think I was firstly felt hostile by my own community. I couldn't wrap my head around it. Like, you are my people. How can that happen to me, right? And but yeah, it's not all of them. There were a few of them, but a lot of them were very amazing. And also, like, when I started working in serving and bartending, there was this incident I saw, like, and I started reflecting on it, not till few months back, that why I have to give other people comfort of pronouncing my name. It's not that difficult, because when I see other people, they make sure you know their name. They make sure if it is spelled as difficult it is, you should know how you pronounce it. And I always used to, if you don't know my name, just call me a different name. And I literally made up a name. And mostly I used to use it, and I used to think I'm so cool, why I'm to use it. But actually it wasn't cool, because I was not owning to my identity. My name comes from my culture. My name comes from my language. I wasn't owning to that. And a lot of time, there was a time when I felt bad to be called Indian. And I don't know why. This country made me feel that. A lot of people definitely made me feel that. They look at you like you are not at their level. There are a lot of people who actually do it. And half of their body language speak. They don't have to even say. I used to work in a European restaurant, and a lot of the crowd used to come from like European or different regions. And I saw that a lot of them were very good, and a lot of them used to look down. And that used to take away my confidence. They used to make fun of my accent. They used to make... And the other point I got from this was that when I can understand American, Canadian, UK accent, why people cannot understand my accent, which is again 7 billion people on this planet. So I think I started reflecting on this few months back, but before that I never knew that this is again a way of putting your identity down.
I feel for me, the challenging part was that, I need to be I need to be adaptive according to the circumstances that we have here now, the weather, the lifestyle, the people around here. So back home, I had a like really good life. We had our parents. We had our home. Everyone we can be dependable on everyone. We had a lot of friends. But here I had to start from zero. I used to do a lot of gigs job. I worked in restaurants. I worked as a Uber Eats delivery guy. Winters I used to bike around all over the downtown. Picking up orders, delivering them. So harsh weather also, and then in normal weather I used to that was a thing that I could know, because I had a lot of student loan on me. I wanted to pay just like every other student. But the main positive thing for me was my wife. Back then she was my girlfriend. We just got married this year, and so she was my main positive thinker, and my main goal that I have to be with her. She is constantly motivating me. Okay, you can do that, you can do this, we can survive everything that we have. And moreover, I just want to be independent, despite all the luxuries that we have and back home. I just want to think okay, can I do everything on my own? Can I start a life with me, starting from the bottom, rising up,
I think, yeah, there are a lot of mental health implications of going to another country, starting your life from scratch. There are a lot of feelings involved. There is isolation, there is anxiety, there may be depression as well. And a lot of people just don't talk about it, especially from the culture I am from. depression and anxiety is considered as rich people's problem, and that's what I feel is really problematic or really troublesome for some people. They might be going through something and they may not be able to talk about it with someone. And I have seen a lot of friends go through the similar things, but fortunately, I was there to help them through it.
I feel like two pieces quickly. I would say the number one thing is making sure you know your why behind why you're coming to Canada in the first place. If you don't know, people are going to tell you other things that aren't going to align with your own ideas. And I think you're going to find yourself roaming around in circles, never trying to find that end goal, and really start going down the loophole of questioning yourself, self-doubt, and then eventually giving into any opportunity that comes by, because now you're made to believe you don't have what it takes, and all you have is you just want a job, and then just jumping to anything that comes by. So I think one is, please come in with a clear idea of what you really want to do and why. The second piece is, I think, create credibility for why you're coming in as well, right? I think the reality is we live in a space where there are so many of us who are so amazing, doing such amazing work. And I think in order to stand out, it's important we just don't advocate for why we deserve to be here, but also are able to give evidences and examples of why you versus someone else, whether that be for a job, whether that be for, being in a room to do an interview, or whatever situation it may be. I think it's very important to have that credibility. And last but not the least, create visibility once you have identified that purpose and you've created credibility for it. Because without that, North America, you won't get opportunities. Yeah. So those three things.
The advice that I would give to international students is, don't make any decisions that you think through all the decisions entirely. I think that's what I would give an advice to other students about. And also, get out of your comfort zone. Sometimes that's all it takes. The world may not be as scary as it seems.
I would say that keep a very positive outlook out there, because life gonna be super tough, and it is tough. It's gonna get more tougher, but it's only how you think, how you feel, and how you surround yourself with the good people. People around you matters the most, and taking care of your mental health is always above anything. Cut off any people if they are disturbing it. It's okay to be selfish a lot of time.
Hi everyone, my name is Ritika. I'm the founder and CEO of Redefined.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Asante Houghton, the manager of storytelling at Unsinkable. And so we're here because we wanted to highlight voices of newcomers and young immigrants and what their story really is, because my experience in Canada as a mental health advocate has been that the story is really told from one perspective, but we're a country that is very diverse and getting more and more diverse. So I would like for us to be telling stories from multiple perspectives, and the newcomer perspective is one of them, and it's really important.
And I think just to add to what Asante mentioned, I think the reason it's so important to highlight immigrant voices is because, especially from a Canadian lens, what we really notice right now is in the last a year and a half, we have had almost about 1.5 million immigrants in Canada, right? Which is quite a big percentage of the population here. And I think having those individual voices, to what Asante mentioned, and that's why the name of this series is In Your Own Words, which is, sharing their perspective and bringing it to light. We know even rates of suicide, depression, anxiety, stress have been so much higher amongst immigrant youth than youth that is from Canada, which is why we believe it's important to bring those faces and those voices to the table. And we hope this series really helps fulfill that and create awareness around those experiences, so that we all can be empathetic towards each other and really realize, okay, the reason someone is showing up a certain way is not because they, of any ulterior motive, but it's maybe because of the baggage that they're carrying from their own countries or from their own cultures and their past.
And the adjustment that comes with being an immigrant, I think that's really important as well. So in these stories, that's what you're going to see, that's what you're going to get.
Yeah, and I hope you all can also relate and spread the voice and share these messages to others, so that if there's anyone else who is also an international student or not an immigrant feeling like, they may not have what it takes and there's no one here to hear them, or that they're alone in their journeys, they can know that, okay, they're not the odd one out. It's okay and it's normal, and they have people who are out there to support them and people understand them, and it's completely normal. Yeah.
That's it.
That's it. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you.